Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome to DC Fans United. So, we are less than a week away from Shazam officially being out. If you're here in the United States, it's about 5 or 6 days away. It's going to be out officially on April 5th, although a lot of times you can get in a little early, and in fact, that's what a lot of people have been doing, apparently. Shazam's been doing pretty good in the box office, and it hasn't even come out yet, which is kind of mind-blowing. So I don't have any up-to-the-moment numbers, but they did release some info. Boy, this was several days ago, and at the time Shazam had made $3.3 million already in the box office. So that isn't pre-sales, that's preview sales. So those are tickets that people have purchased and watched the movie for. A lot of those, of course, are going to be reviewers and things like that, but some of them got to see it for free, so quite a few people are actually watching it early. I'm not entirely sure how they got to do that, but whatever, good for them. And it's also, the early numbers, since it's essentially just previews, are in the hundreds of thousands to the low millions each day. So I saw one day it made like 1.4 million, and then it's, made about 500,000 each day. But of course, the ticket sales are extremely limited right now, so it's going to be really interesting to see how it does on the opening weekend. I'm not really sure, everyone was kind of surprised by Aquaman doing so well, so I'm hoping Shazam can do something similar. Of course, Aquaman was really carried by the overseas market, whereas I think Shazam's going to have to depend a lot more domestically. So my kind of thought is that Shazam is going to do really well. It's certainly going to make a huge profit, especially since the production costs were quite low for a movie like this, superhero movie. And there's been a big promotional push. I don't know, a lot of people are saying they aren't seeing that much for Shazam, but I've seen tons of stuff. Of course, there's the trailers, but there's also been all kinds of little promo spots here and there, TV spots, and even little tie-ins. Like I saw a pretty fun tie-in they did with some NBA players. So they're really trying to promote the movie, I think, but a lot of this stuff, it just depends, like Aquaman. A lot of people were really surprised it did so well. I think now, since Aquaman blew away the box office, literally it made well over $1 billion, I think a lot of people are hoping and expecting Shazam to do the same thing. I'm not sure that it will be able to, although if it gets a lot of repeat viewings and if families turn out, I think it'll do very well, which was actually kind of why I was concerned that it's PG-13. I think I would have went for the PG rating personally, but people have kind of explained to me too that the rating systems have gotten a little stricter since I was a kid. So what you could do in a PG movie when I was a kid would probably be PG-13 now. So I guess it kind of makes sense, and a lot of parents are aware of that, and they're going to go by the previews and figure that it's okay for kids. I personally, if I had a boy or a girl, that was like 10, probably 10 and up, I think would be definitely fine for the movie. I'm not entirely sure about younger than that, because I do know some parts are going to be kind of spooky. Like there's, aside from Dr. Savannah, there's supposed to be some villains called the Seven Sins of Man or something. I can't remember offhand, but they're like sloth and greed and envy and all that, and they're supposed to be pretty scary. But aside from that, I'm not really too sure if there'd be anything that would really be inappropriate for kids. Like everything in the promotions looks really lighthearted and positive and funny. Like personally, I'm so happy that they're doing a movie like this. For me, when it was just years of this dreary, dark and depressing Batman v Superman, and then Justice League was a mess, I was really kind of downtrodden on the DC universe. But once Wonder Woman came out, it started to look a lot better. I know that came out before Justice League, but it's been a back and forth thing. And with Shazam being so positive and lighthearted, I'm really thinking that DC is on the right track. So I'm looking forward to this. Now, the early ratings on Rotten Tomatoes are actually really good for Shazam. Right now it's sitting at 93%. It has dropped a bit from 97%, which was its peak, but some of the people who have been giving it negative reviews, I'm not really sure would be fans of this kind of movie anyway. I read one where the lady was complaining because it was violent, or it had violence in it, and I mean, from the trailers that should be pretty obvious. And also basically every kind of comic book action movie sort of thing has, comic book style violence. So I don't know. It was almost like she was just looking for something to complain about. And then this other negative review I saw, this guy here, Oliver Jones, and his was the only negative one on the front page. They're all positive except for Oliver, and he says Shazam is as blandly presentational as a market research PowerPoint. Wow. Okay. People with lightning flying out of their hands and jumping through the sky and everything, I don't think is bland at all, but that's just my opinion, and I guess that's his opinion. So in any case, 93% of the critics have given it a positive score so far, so I think that's really good, and a lot of people have seen it early. I'm a little surprised they don't have an audience score, but it might be locked until the movie is officially out. I guess that's probably how they do it, huh? So I think that's all for now. Just, I'm really hyped for Shazam, honestly. I haven't looked forward to a comic book movie like this since, I think, The Dark Knight, honestly. Well, no, I'm not gonna lie. I was really hyped for Batman v Superman, but that movie just, crushed me in the theater. It was so hard to watch. From the death of Jimmy Olsen to the death of Superman, it was just why? Why does this movie exist? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Shazam and some bright colors and happiness and, good versus evil, and just, not every comic book movie has to be The Watchmen. I love The Watchmen. I've read it. I actually like the movie. I think Zack Snyder did a great job with The Watchmen. But Justice League isn't Watchmen. It doesn't need to be dark and dreary all the time. Not every comic book is the death of Superman, and not every comic book is DKR. So, okay, just kind of all over the place today, but I've had a lot to think about when it comes to comic book movies, since there's so many of them all the time, and we've got a lot more coming. I did a video not too long ago where I talked about the 20 plus movies that Warner Brothers has in production, specifically based off of DC Comics. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. And as always, thank you for watching and being a part of DC Fans United.
End of line.